Hey y'all, I'm Carolina Tony. Today the road brings me to Clio, South Carolina. We are just a few miles outside of Clio at a place called the Red Bluff. It's a mill pond. It has been here for almost 200 years. And today I'm going to show you a little bit about the mill pond and a little bit about Clio. There's a dirt bike. And we'll get started right after this station identification. I vaguely remember when I was young coming to Red Bluff, and I remember back then you were able to swim, and it looks like that's still allowed today. There's a sandy beach right before me. This is definitely not somewhere you want to let your small children run loose, because it's very dangerous. Just that small little rope holds you back from plummeting down the cliff into the water. These protrusions that are next to the water sticking up, they're called cypress knees. It is a structure forming above the roots of a cypress tree. They are sent above the water level. The water level is kind of low right here. And there is a diving platform along with a rope. Swim out, or you can swing out over the water hole. In the early 1700s, a mill was here, and this could be the very one, or it could be rebuilt, I'm not sure. But there was a grist mill here, a flour mill, sawmill, as well as a post office. And we're just a few miles outside of town from Clio. Oh, look at this beautiful cypress mill pond. This is the Red Bluff Cemetery. Kind of reminds you of Boot Hill, high on a bluff. All these McLarens, they are all part of the founding of Red Bluff, and have something to do with the Red Bluff, whether it be the grist mill or the ferry. There's a very old grave right there. I really can't make out how old it is, but I would guess late 1700s, early 1800s perhaps. Here in Clio is a mural painted on the side of a building on a little back street. And it appears that are windows. This is a shopkeeper looking out his door. And that appears to be a soda fountain or a little grill, perhaps a drugstore. I don't think there are, take two, I do not believe there is any industry here in Clio any longer. All of that is gone away. At one time, this place was cotton. All about cotton gins and buying and selling cotton. And that's long since gone. There's still a cotton gin here, but most of the business has moved on. A few little places hanging on. There are folks that live here and they commute to the other cities on the outskirts. But you can tell from the architecture that at one time this was a grand little town. Here is a brass plate on this building recognizes Sherry Calhoun Gillespie and Hubbard W. Donald Jr. for their efforts in having Clio listed in the National Register of Historic Places in 1979. And this is another building with a lot of detail. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but the front door has got beveled glass. That is cool. And this post running up, this post appears to be cast from iron. Right at these crossroads, it was known as the McLaurin Muster Ground. Became a polling place in 1825. And according to local tradition, the community was later called Ivy Crossroads. A post office was named Clio, was established here in 1836, and the town was officially incorporated in 1882. A lot of these old buildings are boarded up. The Dennis Community Grocery. Just check out, the plywood is falling off. But look what's behind the plywood. It's genuine stained glass. Those things are cut and put together with lead. It's amazing. This building on the corner at one time was a pharmacy, but it also was the Eden's Opera House. This depot was built in 1915 by the Atlantic Coast Line Railway. This was the first railroad line in Clio. It was a branch of the Florence Railroad, extended here in 1895. A cotton boom spurred the dramatic growth of Clio between 1900 and 1920, but it didn't survive the Great Depression. The Atlantic Coast Railway ended the service here in 1941 and removed its tracks along Calhoun Street, which is this very street right here. The railroad pulled up tracks. They took their tracks and went home, and they were not planning to come back. And this town never did either. Well, that's going to be a wrap for our trip to Clio, South Carolina. I hope you've enjoyed our little tour of Clio and Red Bluff. If you did, be sure to give me a big old thumbs up. Be sure to share this video with your family and friends. But until next time, y'all have a good day.